Have you ever felt like your lead synths never sound as deep and interesting as your reference tracks? After working with over 400 producers, helping them finish music they're proud of, I know that it only takes a few tweaks to turn even a simple sine wave into a pro-sounding lead synth. So in this video, I'm going to show you 3 sound design techniques that will help you create great sounding lead synths using nothing but the stock tools of your DAW. Here's how it works. So all we have here is a sine wave inside operator that is tuned to 440 Hz on a fixed frequency, and I've rhythmically programmed a lead, sounds like this. And so if I wanted to turn this into something that actually sounds interesting as quickly as possible, well, the first thing that I would do is to add some texture using a reverb, but not just some random reverb, actually a reverb that is designed to provide that texture. So let's grab our friend, the hybrid reverb. The thing that makes hybrid reverb so strong is that you can blend between, on the one hand, some more realistic space, so convolution reverb that was actually an impulse response of a real room that got captured and then loaded into this. And on the other side, this blue side, the algorithmic reverb, which is artificial reverbs that are designed to provide texture and smear. Now, by intentionally choosing a combination of reverbs that sounds interesting, you can actually already turn the sine wave into something interesting. So for the convolution side of things, let me just go to just convolution. We will pick something that sounds interesting. So we go to textures and then check out that. So this reverb already has this swelling feeling, which is quite interesting and creates a little bit of a backbeat. If you want to strengthen that, you can actually turn up the pre-delay so that this happens even later. So there's a distance between the original signal and the reverb. Now, I like to try out values above 100 milliseconds because this really distances the original signal and the reverb. Go for something like 120, listen to that. You can obviously also tune this to a specific time signature, but I personally like a bit of that unpredictability, that it's not completely rhythmically locked in. Now, if you want to now combine this convolution reverb with something algorithmic, bring the blend now over to the algorithmic side to see what we select here. So the dark color is actually quite cool, but I want you to also experiment with some of the other ones. Shimmer, for example, is super cool. So as you can see, this is like a pitched up version of texture on top of the reverb. And now listen to what happens when I move this around. You can find these ghostly sounding notes that are not completely tuned correctly, but I just love the texture that they add. Now let's create a blend of the 2 reverbs. So a lot of producers don't know about this feedback setting here, and that's actually quite cool. You can feed back some of that reverb signal into the input. No feedback. Loads of feedback. And what that does is it creates some additional resonances and interesting overtones. This interaction is absolutely gold. Now, if you want to make that a bit more dirty, you can use this setting here. So this adds some bit crush texture to this, almost like a broken converter chip. I will not make this as extreme, I'll just set this to old. So that was the first technique. Instead of waiting for reverb and so on at the very end of the sound design process, you actually pull it to the front and you add reverb right away before even doing anything else to the sound, because that texture will already help you feel the music and feel what you're doing. But with that in place, let's go to one of my absolute favorite effects for creative sound design. We'll go to the shifter plugin, but I'm not going to use it in the way I did in some of my other videos. So I'll bring this shifter over here between the operator and hybrid reverb. A lot of people don't even try out these different settings here. Pitch shifting is the thing that this is most known for. But This very cool effect that is quite underused is ring modulation. Now, I've known ring modulation a lot from the modular synth world, but I've actually recently been using it more and more inside Ableton as well. There's a super cool way to use this in Shifter. So you select the ring modulation here, and let me do a quick detour so you really understand what's going on here. A lot of producers think that ring modulation and frequency modulation, aka FM, so what operator can do, are the same thing, but that's not true. So let me show you what ring modulation actually does. We start with 0% ring modulation, and on the analyzer you will see just the 440 Hz sine wave. Now this is interesting. The one frequency, the 440 Hz, gets replaced by two different, seemingly unrelated overtones here, but they are closely related actually. This is the so-called sum and difference signal, and there's like a calculation that you can go into that shows you exactly how to calculate all of this. But the important difference between this and frequency modulation is that here nothing of the original 440 Hz is present in the signal, and nothing of the modulating 1000 Hz is visible in the signal. It gets completely replaced by this sum and difference signal. Now obviously, this is the cool thing about the wet dry knob here, is that you can still have some of the original 440 Hz in there. Now let me show you how I would turn this into an interesting sounding signal overall. And you can obviously create harmonies in here. So if I use something like 329, by the way, I calculated this before, obviously, this creates a harmonic relationship that sounds actually quite pleasant. But you can also go atonal. Now, since I'm producing techno here and I actually like some atonal stuff, I would go for something quite weird and feed that in. And what Shifter is really good at is it lets you space things out in interesting ways. So we can use a bit of that fine tuning and make it wide here, so it is fluctuating from left to right a bit. And we can add some delay. Let's bring in some drive in the output. This was the second technique, which brought in a little bit of interesting harmonic relationship into this sound without programming any new MIDI notes. By the way, if you find these tips helpful and you want to learn how to finish more music consistently, I have a free gift for you. It's called the Finisher Framework, my 3 simple steps to finishing at least one great sounding song per month. You can get it at pickyourself.com/framework. The link is also in the description. Now, the last tip I have for you is actually one of my favorites. Once again, not a lot of people are using this. You have to go to the Shaper tool, and not the Shaper MIDI, but the other Shaper thing here. And the Shaper lets you basically add an envelope to different parts of your signal here. And what we will do is we'll actually turn this into a little bit of a step sequencer. So we'll bring the grid up to 8 here, and I will basically try out different values here. And you don't have to get this perfect. So this is just for you to understand what's going on here. We can now map this interesting looking signal here to different parameters. So let's say we map it to the tuning of the shifter. If that's too aggressive for you, you can bring it down with the depth. One of my personal favorites is to actually at the same time play with these spaces here. So what we will do is we will add the LFO tool. We will bring this into, let's go to the stray, which is like a bit more smooth. Bring it down. We'll not lock this to any tempo. And what you'll see is this creates a control voltage that is just fluctuating around here. We'll map this to the blend between those two rooms. And what this does is it messes with your head a little bit and makes your psychoacoustic perception of that space go wild. also map the second one to, for example, the size of the room. Be careful, this gets messy if you overdo this, so we can bring this down a bit. Now you know exactly how to create deep and interesting sounding lead synths, but what if there was also a way to create entire arrangements and making parts flow well from one to the other without even using something like risers? Well, check out that video next.